Today we will discuss about one of the application of Gauss law. The application is like this. We will calculate electric field due to an infinitely long, straight, uniformly charged wire. So we are given an infinitely long, straight, uniformly charged wire. Let us say this is the infinitely long, straight, uniformly charged wire. Actually its length is not this much, it is infinitely long, and we are given to find out electric field. Let us say here, let this distance is r. Using Coulomb's law also we can find out this. How? Now in that case we have to take very small charges, and each time we have to find out electric field here, and as we all know that electric field is a vector quantity, so we have to add all these vectors to find out the resultant electric field at this point. But that is a very tedious process. That is why we are taking the help of Gauss law to find the answer of this particular question. So you see here we are given the uniformly charged wire, and its length is actually infinite, and that is why this lambda is, that is called the linear charge density of the given wire. This is actually delta Q by delta L. Means it is charge per unit length of this wire. The total charge in this wire can be Q. Means if you want to find out the total charge what is there in this wire, then it will be simply lambda dl, then we have to go for its summation. So this is another point, we are not interested for this, but our purpose is to find out electric field here. So to find that out, as I have told you earlier, to apply Gauss law we have to take a Gaussian surface. So in this case we have to take a Gaussian surface that is in the shape of a cylinder. Okay, so this is the cylinder I am taking, having radius r, and this length is, let us say, small l. Okay, and there are three surfaces. This is your surface number 1, this is surface number 2, and this one is surface number 3. Means two plane surfaces, 1 and 2 are plane surfaces, 3 is a curved surface. So that is a curved surface. Our purpose is to find out electric field here. So to calculate that, as I have told you, we are taking the help of the Gauss law. So to apply Gauss law, I have taken a Gaussian surface. Here the Gaussian surface is in the form of a cylinder of length L and radius R. So it has three surfaces. If you go to surface 1, at every point the direction of delta S will be like this, because it is always along the outward drawn normal, and here also it will be like this. But for this curved surface, just think of the curved surface, at this point the direction of delta S is like this. And if you find out the electric field at this point, due to this charge distribution, it will be outward like this. So out of these three surfaces, we will find for surface number 3, there will be some flux linked. That means we will have phi 3, that is flux linked with surface 3 due to line charge because this is the situation where electric field and delta S, they are making an angle of 0 degree. In this case our flux will be E into delta S, then we have to go for its summation. E into delta S cos theta, and summation, it will be summation of E into delta S, because cos theta is 1 here, the theta is 0 degree, so it will be ultimately E into S. And for other two surfaces, so phi 1 and phi 2, both will be 0. Flux linked with surface 1 and surface 2 will be 0, because in these two cases electric field is perpendicular to the delta S vector. Okay, that is why the flux linked with these two surfaces will be 0, and so the total flux linked with the Gaussian surface, in this case total flux phi will be simply E into S. So as per Gauss law, so this phi equal to the charge inside the Gaussian surface by epsilon 0. So this phi equal to E into S. Now we will find out what is the charge inside the Gaussian surface. You see, we have taken the Gaussian surface like this. So the length is L. Here your lambda equal to delta Q by delta L. So delta Q will be lambda into delta L, and when you take L in place of delta L, the charge within this will be lambda into L. That means this Q in will be equal to the charge inside this region only, so it will be lambda into L. So this is lambda into L by epsilon 0. So then your E will be equal to lambda into L by S epsilon 0. Here S is equal to 2 pi RL. We all know that 2 pi RL is the curved surface area of this cylinder. 2 pi RL. So L cancel. We are getting lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0. This is the formula of electric field. 2 pi epsilon 0 R. One R is there in the denominator. This is the formula of electric field at this point due to the linear charge distribution. Means electric field comes out to be lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 R. Okay, so it is inversely proportional to R. That means as we go away from this charge distribution, the electric field will decrease. Another important point here is that suppose you are given a finite charge distribution. Suppose infinite is not given, but finite charge distribution is given. So in that case, this formula will be correct if you are finding out electric field somewhere in the middle region. Okay, not in the end regions. Somewhere in the middle regions, this formula will be correct for finite charge distribution. And another point is that if you are interested for the vector electric field, then it will be simply lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 R with a unit vector n cap. This n cap is directed away from charge distribution if it is positive. Otherwise, if you have taken a negative charge distribution, then this n cap will be towards the charge distribution. That means in my situation, n cap is away from the charge distribution, but if you are given a rod of this type, then n cap will be towards this, and the direction of electric field will also be towards the charge distribution. Thank you.